All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What is good, everybody? Just want to jump on a call with everybody. What is up, everybody? Hopefully, you guys had an amazing weekend. Was able to enjoy the Super Bowl with your friends and family. Was able to get some relaxing rest, and you know what I mean. What is it like? Rest and relaxation. There you go. R&R. But it is a new trading week, so we obviously got to jump on the charts and identify what the markets will have for us this week. We will also be trying to find any potential trade opportunities that the market will give us for this week as well. We'll obviously be answering any and all questions that you guys may have, looking at the markets that you specifically would like to look at as well. Again, on these calls, I like to make sure that I'm speaking in relevance, helping you actually understand what's needed to become profitable in the Forex market. You will get tons and tons of value from these calls. So if this is your first time on, I appreciate you being on. If this is your 100th, because I do these all the time, or I've always done these for like the past few years. If you've been on a call with me before and you're consistently on these, I appreciate you even more, because the consistency behind your views, your following definitely helps grow this community. So I definitely appreciate you guys. And yeah, I definitely want to make sure that I give back to the community, make sure that everyone has a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. So that way you can understand that this is not as difficult as it seems as far as trading is concerned and learning how to become profitable. So it's really important that I give you guys as much knowledge, value, and profits as possible. So my man Ifram, was good. Good morning. Good morning. All right, what's good, everybody? Seems like we got some people on now, so we will be getting started. Before I personally begin, is there any questions that you guys may have? If there's any specific markets that you would like for me to take a look at, feel free to let me know what that market is, and also what you're trying to accomplish with that market. Just don't be like, yo, gold, buy or sell now. Like, I'm not going to answer that. So if you guys have a specific market that you would like for me to take a look at, let me know the reasoning on why you're looking at that. Tell me why you're being specific on wanting to identify the analysis or any question that you specifically have with that. So that way I can speak again in relevance, give you the needed knowledge so you could take that knowledge and be able to apply that to your own individual trading. That's very important that you guys leave each and one of these calls with some type of education, some type of value, and have all your questions answered. I don't want anybody leaving more questions than answers. But yeah, if you guys have anything, feel free to let me know. I am taking a look at the comment section below. If you guys are just going to pay attention and listen, that's perfectly fine. It is Monday, so if you're expecting me to just start throwing out trades, and no, that's not how that works. Being Monday, you're not going to get as much volatility in the market that you would during the middle of the week or just in the week in general. So Monday is a perfect opportunity for us to mark things up, get a strong understanding of what can happen, and then start identifying entries leading into this week. I am a swing trader. I do not scalp. I'm not going to jump onto the 1 minute and 5 minute, tell you to catch 5 pips and call that a win. I'm going to make sure that if we catch a move, we catch the entire move. We're able to catch more than 50 to 100 pips. So that's my trading style. Hopefully everybody can relate to that in the sense of wanting to make more money than 5 to 10 pips. So if you guys have anything, feel free to let me know. If not, I'll take a quick look at what we have for the week. I usually start off with gold, which is actually a really good pair for us to take a look at, because what this does is it gives us a strong idea of what the US dollar will be doing for not just for the day, but just in trading in general. So I do like to get a strong base of what this will be doing, so that way we can understand the overall market as far as the US dollar is concerned. The reason being is because we are now in the New York session, right? Well, London overlap rather. So it's like London and New York at the same time, where we get a lot of volatility. But this is the New York session, or leading into it rather, because it's not 8:30 a.m. Eastern yet. But what we'll be seeing is a lot of activity and volatility within the US cross pair. So I like to identify what gold is doing, the DXY as well. So that way I know what markets or what trades we could place and what the initial dollar weakness or strength is, so that way I could go ahead and place my trades accordingly. Good day, Joe. Good day, Jay. Hope you well, my G. Yo, what's good, Chris? I definitely am. I was able to watch, and I'm sorry if there's any Eagles fans. I'm a Giants fan, so you already know I was rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs last night. I'm happy that they were able to pull it off. I personally do believe Patrick Mahomes will become one of the, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, right behind Tom Brady, and could possibly surpass him, because he's still ridiculously young. 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. You can't. I mean, come on. Not even. Like 2 Super Bowls 4 years or more. Like he's killing it. You know what I mean? Like I personally, as a Giants fan, am happy to even see Patrick Mahomes play to the top. You know what I mean? So what's good? What's good, everybody? All right, so I'm going to take a quick look here on gold just to see what we have again, because I like to make sure that I'm identifying what the market will be doing during its own session. So again, being the New York session, we should see a lot of activity within the US dollar. So I want to see the direction of that. And for anybody who's just jumping on right now, thank you. Welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If there's any specific markets you would like for me to take a look at, also let me know. And I definitely got you. But right now, I'm going to take a quick look at gold because this is a strong market, one of my favorite markets to actually trade. And what I'm looking at again is I'm on the higher time frame. I'm always going to start on the higher time frame because that's going to give me a stronger idea of what is initially happening. When people just jump onto the 15-minute time frame and they don't look at the higher time frames, they're not getting a strong understanding. They're just basically winging it and guessing it, if you will, because you're not truly understanding whether this is bullish or bearish. So being on the daily time frame, I know from these lows to these highs that gold has been very bullish, but I'm starting to see a little bit different, or something a little bit different, right? We did have this bearish move to the downside, and if we look left to get right, we can actually just see, we can actually see where this market came into a level of structure over here to the left. If you guys can see that, doesn't look good, doesn't look perfect, but that is in fact a level of price that has been respected previously and has been respected again here. So what I am identifying is this is a strong level of resistance. So let's write that out. Level, I'll just put level of resistance. So with that level of resistance, it's just a very simple concept, right? We're not overcomplicating anything within our trading. We're trying to make sure that we can get the bare basics understood, and that will leave the clues that we need to place an initial entry. So we have a level of structure, strong level of resistance. So with that level of resistance, we need to see some actions that will then determine whether this is a strong level of resistance or it's going to be broken to the upside. Because at the time when we're looking at this, that was really weird. It wouldn't let me actually replay it the way I wanted it to. Let me try that again. Well, yeah, it's very weird. It won't let me go for, like, that's really weird. All right, I'll try to fix that. It's weird because I'm trying to replay it to a specific point, but it's actually not letting me. So we won't replay that. But when we were looking at this, market before all of this happened, before that sell happened, right? We were looking at the idea of this double top. So this bearish move was not there. We're only paying attention to this right here. I'll zoom in so everyone can see. I was just looking at these candles here. All this was not there when we identified this, but it is relevant now because it does show us exactly, or confirms exactly, what we were looking at. When we get to this level of structure up here, this level of resistance, we were able to identify some actions. So if anybody's wondering what type of trading I do, what style of trading is this is just simply price action trading. Very simple concept. You identify the most relevant level of price and the actions that proceed within them. So one of the actions that we did have is, in fact, this double top. So what I'm doing right now is I'm breaking down this market from top to bottom. So if you have no idea how to mark up a chart, if you're still confused on, what should I be doing when I look at a, market, this is it. You identify on a higher time frame. I am on the daily, so that way I can see the overall trend, see if it's bullish or bearish, and I'm also seeing if we are reaching any PRZs, which is considered a potential reversal zone. Very self-explanatory. PRZ, potential reversal zone. It has a potential, instead of buying from this range, to reverse and start selling. Sometimes I use that word reversal loosely because it's not always a reversal. It could just be a correction, which we'll find out as this market develops. But since we are at this level of resistance price, and we are finding some actions being this double top, we need to understand that this is no longer bullish, at least for this moment. And we need to see what's going to happen next. Because a lot of people started buying gold before this sell even happened, thinking that it was going to continue to be bullish because they didn't have the right idea. We get the right idea again. How? By looking at the higher time frame. I know I'm going to be speaking, saying the same thing over and over, repetition a lot, but repetition is key. That's how you learn. That's how you gain this knowledge and keep it in your toolbox to become profitable. So we can see the sell-off that happened after this double top. So the one thing you guys have to understand about double tops is this, or double bottoms as well. You reach a level of structure. So in this case, resistance. The market was trying to break above and it could not. So let me actually, there we go. So when it can't break above and it respects that level of structure, it just simply gives you a correction. And you would expect that market to then give you another higher high and higher low after that break, but it does not. It respects that level of structure, and then you start to see different market structure being new lower lows and lower highs being made. And that's what we're getting here, right? We had this double top. It could not break above that price point, and what happened? It sold off. Now, to confirm a double bottom or double top, in this case a double top, this is not where you would want to sell, because I know a lot of people are like, well, why didn't you sell there? Because it has every opportunity to break above. But with a double top and double bottom, the confirmation of that being a confirmed sell is when this point is broken, when a new low is made, right? So we break market structure, and as soon as this happens, we now can consider either this a full-fledged reversal or just a sell in general, right? Because the higher time frame, this could just be an initial correction before the buys still continue. But we actually have the confirmation that sellers are probably going to be taking over for a bit, right, before we actually find any more buys. Now, in my honest opinion, this is what we're looking at with gold. We have the break of that market structure, which is right there. I'll make this a little bit easier for you guys to see. So we have the break below our double bottom, or double top rather. And what I do think will happen is we might get a re-entry around that area. So again, I'm only speaking on gold and marking this up because nobody has asked any questions or told me what markets you guys would like to see. For the individuals who have just jumped on and who are attending, if you have any questions, if you're confused on anything, if you need help with something specific, by all means, please feel free to let me know. If there's a specific market that you would like to take a look at, tell me which market it is and why you want us to look at it. What is your question about that market? So I'm almost done here with gold, so I'll be able to move on. So if you guys have anything, feel free. So what I'm looking at is right now, this is our impulsive phase. This is an impulse. Very self-explanatory. It is impulse to the downside. It has given us a strong sell. What is after an impulse? A correction. This has little to no correction on it. So correction, starting, and I'll put a question mark there too, because we don't know if this is actually starting to correct as of yet. It will show us, but right now what we're looking at is this market is giving us a level of support at previous structure to the left. Doesn't look it, but if we scale down to a smaller time frame, you'll be able to see it a little bit more clear. I'll actually just draw it down here. This is why like zones are created. You can't beat, or you can if you're like, I would say, very strict with your analysis. But putting a specific point or a line thinking that it's going to respect that point perfectly is probably not the best idea. This is why zones are created, because this right here is an entire zone. And you can see here it has been respected. I'm not going to leave that marked up because then when we scale down to a smaller time frame, it looks a little crazy. But we are getting some support here, some structure. So with this level of support, this can cause a correction to the upside. Why is that important? Because we can get a double up here. I know you guys like profits and money, so we can actually look at this and look for a potential buy from here leading into a sell zone. So that's just me marking up gold, not really much left on this. So what I'll be looking at is if this market does, if this can continue to respect that point there, I'll be expecting gold to give us a correction to the upside before leading into some sells. So let me mark that up so that way you guys can see it. I'll be sure to drop the analysis in the Discord if it is needed, so that way you guys can take advantage of that. I'm actually going to draw my structure right there for my sell zone. The reasoning behind why I'm looking specifically right here is because, I mean, you could see it. You can see that there was resistance. There was a lot of support there as well, right? There was a lot of respect, a lot of action at that level of price. So I want to see if we can push up a little bit higher before we start looking to sell. So I'll mark it up in this sense. If respected, we have a counter trend trade. Does anyone know what a counter trend trade is? Very self-explanatory. It's right there in the words that I put out. And this will be considered our sell kill zone. So if anything, we might have two potential setups on gold. One obviously needs to develop and it's going to take some time to reach. And right now we do have a potential trade setup that is forming and developing. So we might be able to place that today, maybe sometime this week. It really depends on how the volatility in the market works for us on gold. But that's just to start us off with. And it doesn't seem like you guys have any questions, any specific markets, but we got some people on. What's good, everybody? Good morning. It's Monday. Y'all don't want no money? So this is, y'all got to realize this is y'all time. I'm doing this for my fun. This don't benefit me at all. So I'm pretty sure if you wake up and you try to go find some information and ask somebody for some help on Forex, they're not going to be there. So use your time wisely, because it's really important. Again, for me, my goal is to teach and educate and really help you guys out. But I want to make sure I'm speaking on relevance. So if you guys don't got nothing for me, it's going to be hard for me to get something for y'all. So let me know what you guys need. Going against a trend. There you go. Exactly. Going against the initial trend, counter trend. We are looking at a bearish market, but we're looking at a potential buy, counter trend trade. This is risky in a sense because you don't want to go against the trend initially. You want to make sure that you're going where the money is going. But if the market is giving you clues and kind of giving you the idea that, yeah, maybe we can get a push to the upside before sell, why not be able to place a trade at that area? So I will be looking at this for legacy students. I actually am going to be looking for a potential trade on this in our auto trader to make sure, again, that they're making profits as much as possible. But this is probably going to be our best area for a buy leading into our potential sell or overall direction. My man, you got that. Who's that? Starry, that's Rome, right? If I'm correct, my man Rome. Good morning, Jay. Can you take a look at oil? I'm in a buy currently. Would like to know your bias. I honestly don't even look at oil, so I'm probably the worst person to even go over that. Let's go over US oil. So you said you're in a buy on that. I would say that you're correct. So the one thing I should be very specific on that. I will not do any analysis or speak on trades that you are currently in. And it's not to sound rude or disrespectful. It's because if I was to go ahead and say you're crazy for buying that, let's say you close out, right? Let's say you bought from here. Let's say you had a perfect entry, and I'm like, nah, B, you're crazy for that. Don't buy that. And then you close out, and then the market continues to buy, and you could have made more money. I don't ever want to deter somebody from their own trade, and it's also, this is going to help you with your psychology. So answer me this. Are you currently in profits on your trade? If you are currently in profits on your buy on oil, then you don't need to ask that question. And it, again, not to sound rude or disrespectful, it's because if you're in profits, why do you need anybody else's analysis if you're correct, if you're right? If you're making money, it made sense. What you looked at is correct. Just keep doing that, right? Just keep duplicating the right decision that you made to become in profit, and then you're good. But in my honest opinion, this will be the only one that I go over, that if you guys are in a trade, I don't want to mess up your psychology. But yes, I do think you're in the right direction for oil. If you just look, I don't have to mark it up. I just want to take a look. This right here tells you everything. So if you're in profits, I don't need to answer that, right? If you made money or you are making money, then you are correct. No, not even my analysis matters. Nobody's opinion matters but yours, because that will help you become profitable. It'll help you become confident within your own trading style and analysis and thought process. And I promise you that'll help big time. But in my opinion, can anyone tell me what they see with this? This is important. I'm not marking it up. I'm simply taking a look, because the market leaves clues behind. If you just pay attention and look, you'll be able to see them. And if you know the answer, like my man Rome, what's good, baby? Yeah, don't, if you answered already, because I know there's a delay, don't, only because I want to see if everybody else can see it. A lot of the time when people jump onto a chart, the first thing they want to do is this shit. They want to just mark up and, oh, that looks great. And then they have all this craziness, and don't ever have your chart look crazy like this, right? Because you're not going to be able to understand what you're trying to look for. Now, if I just delete everything, that alone makes a lot of sense. Look left to get right. You're in a buy because why? It hit a level of previous support. That's great. So you hit that level of previous support. You can see that the market has rallied from there. And then, just like my man Uncle Mar said, an inverted head and shoulders pattern. You're identifying the most relevant level of price, this being the most relevant level of price as being your support, and then the actions that proceed within it. So What are some actions that happened at this price? Well, that candlestick is important, right? That wick to the downside giving you a level of rejection. You can clearly see the market is buying off of that area, and you can see the pattern that was left behind, inverted head and shoulders. And if you look left to get even more right, if you want to get detailed, not only was the trend line, the neckline here being broken. That's a terrible neckline. I usually like to draw my necklines like this. Not only was it broken, that is a weird neckline, honestly, because that poked above. But you can see that it broke above, created a new high, broke structure, and respected structure. It is a very simple concept. So don't ever ask that question if you're, and I know that sounds disrespectful. Let me rephrase that. Don't beat yourself up, right? Don't get in the mentality that when you place a trade, you need somebody else's opinion. If you right now are in profits, whatever you did is correct. And I'm only saying that so that way everyone understands that the psychology behind trading is very real. If you place a trade, walk the fuck away. Do not look at it. Don't be in the chart all day, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to start seeing things and it's going to be like, oh, well, I'm buying, but now it looks like a sell. No, trust your first original analysis. So do I think that oil is a buy? Yes, I think that you're good, and you know that you're good because you're in profit. So that's that on oil. What else you guys got? Any other questions? Any other markets you guys want to take a look at? And for those who are joining on, if there is a market that you would like to take a look at, let me know the reasoning on why you would like to see it. If you're in a trade on it, I'm not going to really speak on it because, again, I want you guys to build that psychological factor. If I just keep giving you the answers to the test, like, oh, yeah, it's a buy, you're not going to ever fully commit to your trades. Or the biggest thing for me is having confidence within your own trade, your own analysis will boost your profits. Why? Two reasons. You're going to trust your trade. You're going to place them, because I've been there where you're like, I don't want to place it. I don't know. And then it's a banger. It's like a perfect trade. And you will then increase your lot sizes. Why is that important? Well, you guys know the bigger the lot size, the more profits you make. So that psychological aspect is very, very important. But I do think that you are good on the buys. If you're looking at your take profits to be up here, you're even better. Very simple approach to trading. You do not have to have this guru method or this crazy trading system to identify what the market is currently doing. Just look at the clues, right? Level of previous support was hit. Bam. After that level of support was hit, what happened? It created your inverted head and shoulders pattern. That tells you everything. You don't need to be like, is this a buy or a sell? You know it's a buy. You absolutely can tell. You just have to look at it, mark it up, get a strong sense of what's happening, and then get detailed with your markup to identify your entries. But yeah, oil, in my opinion, is a continued buy. So if you're in profits, just hold. Don't get nervous. Don't get scared with your trade. Trust your analysis. Trust your trades. Trust your skill. Trust yourself. Because once you're able to do that, then those questions be like, well, I'm in a buy. Should I stay? No, you'll be like, nah, this shit's a buy. I'm definitely staying. It's a complete difference when you start feeling confident. So let that be your value, your teaching for today, Martez, because it's very important that you trust yourself. So yeah, any other questions, any other markets you guys want me to take a look at, feel free to let me know. Right now, if you guys are looking for me to, start throwing out trades and signals, that's not what Mondays are here for, what Mondays are for, and that's not what these sessions are. These are to help you become a profitable trader. So if you are a new trader, you have no idea what you're doing, or you have questions that were never answered, feel free to ask. I'm definitely here to help. If not, you're wasting your time, because this is something that, people will be paying for elsewhere. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys this value, this knowledge, and giving you the time. So use it wisely. What questions you guys got, if any, and what other markets would you guys like to take a look at? There was, if I'm correct, there was a trade from last week that somebody was looking at, and it ended up working out like almost beautifully in the sense of our markup. I'm going to see if we can find it as I'm going through some things, but I do want to take a look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, because there is something, I've stated it on my Facebook previously, and I think I put it in the Discord as well, that people who are investing into cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, or any of them for that matter, are about to witness a pretty dramatic sell-off, a pretty strong drop. and it's very easy to see when we go into a higher time frame. So we're going to go over the entire history or the move of this, if you will, so that way you guys can understand the reasoning on why I think Bitcoin and the majority of cryptos will continue to fall much more. So if we just look at this, and I know I always speak on this a lot, but I mean, if it's there, you have to use it. When we look at cryptocurrency, let me see on the weekly actually, we can see a few clues, right? We can see, good morning, Jay, can you take a look at GU? I'll take a look at GU right after I'm done with this, yes. What is your question on GU? Why do you want to look at it? What is important about it? What are you trying to accomplish with GU? Don't just give me a chart and be like, yeah, GU, that's it. Why? Why do you want to take a look at GU? What is your question on it? Again, that's just so that way I could speak on relevance, and that way you could leave with more answers than questions. Because I could just take a look at GU and be like, yeah, buy, sell. You know what I mean? But what is your question with it? And I'll take a look. But right now, I do think that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin being specific, will drop down, and call me crazy, but it is what it is, at least back down to this zone here. So you're looking at $2,000 to the $3,000 handle. Now, there is one other level of structure being here that could be tested and respected. So that's just around that $10,000 to $12,000 range. If you are thinking I am crazy, look at what the market has left behind, the clues that were left behind. And I know I speak on this a lot, but if it's there, you have to use it. If it's been true, throughout time, don't disregard it. There was a giant head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And then you have the break of your neckline and the test of it. Can anyone see that? This right here is predicting the moves of the market. So if you ever see a rally to the upside, new companies starting to pop up and crypto advice from fake like gurus and all crypto, tell them, you know what, I'll invest when the time is right, because they're not paying attention to a very simple aspect. And this is it. You see how I don't have too much marked up on my chart, right? You can see that I'm just identifying on a higher time frame, being the weekly, the overall aspect and idea of what the market is doing, and confirming whether this is a buy or a sell. Right now, we can confirm that this is, in fact, a sell, because the break of the head and shoulder, or the break of the neckline, the respect of the neckline, and if you look left to get right, it also respected structure. With cryptocurrencies and in general, they respect price almost perfectly. So what I'm looking at is the break of that neckline, the respect of the structure, and the continued move to the downside. I mean, we could just draw technical standpoints throughout this market all day. We had another trend line even being broken there. Now, it wasn't necessarily tested because this is not wanting to push up any higher. Now, if you're like, well, if it reaches that low, you're kind of crazy. No, it's almost there. And what we're looking at is just a continued move to the downside. Again, cryptos respect price almost perfectly. I'm going to cheat a little bit and make it touch there. But you can see it just respected another resistance point. And you can start to see this selling off. And the reason why I'm speaking on this is because I know a lot of us, and including myself, a lot of you guys are invested into crypto, or you want to invest into crypto. This is a very good investment for long-term gains. But right now, I don't see the possibility for any potential investments or buying opportunities for crypto. We scaled down to a smaller time frame, being the 4 hour, because you can see it a little bit more relevant here. You can kind of see it here on the daily. But when we jump down to the 4 hour, just like we saw on gold, we are now getting a double top. My man Rome, head and shoulders on the 1 hour. I wouldn't necessarily call that a head and shoulders, right? Because what we're looking at is this double top. A head and shoulders pattern has to be like this, right? As long as the right shoulder is not above, it's okay. As long as the left shoulder is not above or equivalent to the head of the pattern, it is okay. This would be considered the left shoulder, and it has, if we look at the time frame, has broken above previous structure. Not broken above, but you can see it made somewhat of a higher point. I know a lot of people are like, but the wicks equal as well. They do. But when you're looking at a pattern like the double top, you have to be very specific, and the candles of the pattern cannot be broken. We did get that there. Oh, I'm sorry, for the head and shoulders pattern. I'm over here talking about the double top. When you have a head and shoulders pattern, you can't have the left shoulder break above the head of the pattern. That is where it becomes invalid. With a double top, the wicks can be in play because what you're not supposed to do is break above that level of price. You're supposed to respect that level of structure, that zone. With a head and shoulders pattern, the left shoulder cannot exceed above the head of the pattern. And this is why we're going to mark this a double top. So we have a double top here. Double top. So with that double top, it's going to show us that this is most likely wanting to continue to be bearish. And just like I showed you before on gold, what did we see? Same thing with any double top. Where is it confirmed? Not here, when it breaks below here. That is a long-term bias. That's not just a right now, maybe. No, this will probably do something like this and continue to push much lower. So what we're looking at, and I'm going to mark this up, level of structure, right? You can actually see it's kind of already been retested. If I get a little bit more specific, you can see the break here. So break, I'll just put BOS, break of structure. And you can see that little test that happened. So you have the break here and that test of structure and the immediate sell-off. So even at this point, I don't think we'll probably reach those highs. So I'm just going to mark this up like this, because right now, gold, Bitcoin is in a range. Now, this is important as well, because if we can see that Bitcoin cryptos are in this small little range, what that's going to tell us is it doesn't have the volatility as of yet, which is great, because anytime you end up in a ranging market, such as we can see right here, it's going to start developing the needed energy, the needed volume to then break above or below to continue its move. So as we get this continue, or as Bitcoin and cryptos continue to kind of develop, this will be our deciding factor. Whether if this is broken to the upside, that means buyers are probably taking over control again and we need to change our analysis a bit. But when I start breaking down lower, that's going to tell me that our idea right now is a confirmed idea for continued sells. I was talking about the right now market on the 1 hour. Got you. Well, even this, even if you're talking about the right now market right here, I wouldn't really call it. Let me see. You said the 1 hour. Okay, yeah, I could see that on the 1 hour. I could see, that does give a lot more detail to the idea of a continued sell. You know what I mean? So you have the break of the neckline there as well, which is great. You do, in fact, my man Rome killing it. I teach you a little bit. I taught you a little bit, and you over here better than me now. But you're right. You're absolutely correct. On the 1 hour, I didn't see the idea of the time frame that you posted. But yeah, on the 1 hour, you do have that head and shoulders pattern in this ranging market, which could be a strong determining factor that this will be a continuation. And even if we get detailed, I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. What are we looking at? The market has broken lower and retested a previous zone. So I do think, my man Rome killing it out here. I do think that right now, even getting more detailed, that you can see that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is not very much in the favorable side of buys. So I'm going to draw that trend line out here. It is not valid as of yet because it only has 2 touches. But once we get a potential third touch, let's say it does this, then we have confirmations that this will push down a lot. You taught a lot. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad that everything I taught you has still resonated and you're using that to become profitable. Because I remember you told me you had your funded account and I never seen you again, which is great. That's the whole idea and premise behind these teachings and these sessions, is to make sure that I can actually create profitable traders and make sure that you guys are, able to be self-sufficient. So yeah. So my man Ben, I asked you before, what is it that you want to identify with GU? If you give me a reasoning on why you want to take a look at GU, I will take a look at it. I want to make sure that I'm speaking on relevance. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. If there's any specific markets you would like for me to take a look at, tell me what market it is and why. What is that you're trying to accomplish with that market? So that way I could, again, speak in relevance, help you to the best of my abilities. If not, I'm not going to take a look at it. I want to make sure. And this is, I promise you, what this is going to do, this interaction that I'm doing with you guys, make you guys ask specific questions, will help you in the long run big time. You have no idea. As you see, one of my students right now in the comments, or previous student, has learned so much that he's still using that to his advantage. And that right there is a testament that you guys should be asking questions. So if you guys are confused, you have no idea what's going on, please feel free to let me know. Let me take a quick look at gold. Just still chilling there. All right, let me see. My man said, I'm your student that got funded and went missing a bit. Yeah, trust me, I know, but that's good. Due to some family duties, but hey, I'm back. No, that's great, man. I hope everything with the family is great. I hope everything's good. But no, the whole point of me teaching and educating is so that way eventually you don't have to continue to be taught and educated. The whole point is to be able to do this on your own. And that's exactly what these sessions are for. And that's exactly why I make sure that students are always taken care of to the best of my ability. So I'm just taking a quick look at gold because I don't have anything from anybody, just everybody kind of just paying attention and listening, which is great. But as far as Monday, I don't have anything, guys. I don't have any trades for you guys. I'm not looking at any entries. I'm simply trying to answer any and all questions that you guys may have to help you guys progress in your trading career. But I'm just taking a quick look. Actually, I do want to take a look at these yen pairs because as we can see, these yen pairs have just been, well, as of today, been buying tremendously. If I'm correct, there was some yen news, and it seems as if the yen came out extremely bearish. So what I will do is this. We can see GJ currently buying. Now, if anyone's like, okay, what do we do with GJ? It's a very simple concept. We can see right now it's currently buying. And as you guys can see, I'm not going to over analyze and try to give you this guru strategy that nobody knows. No, the market is just very harmonic, if you will. It will do the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm marking this up as my level of structure. Why? Because this was previous support. I'll actually be a little bit more specific. Let's do it there. We can see this was previous support here. And then when it broke to the downside, it ended up being resistance. Now, why is that important? Because if I can see a break above this current level of structure, not only is that going to be considered a break above, that's going to be considered a retest zone. Very simple, nothing complicated. I think a lot of us, when we jump onto the chart, you always think that you have to go from time frame to time frame, mark everything up, talk to the leprechaun at the end of the rainbow to get the pot of gold, wait for the mayonnaise to pass over the ocean or whatever the market maker method, moving average strategy is. You don't need to have it be that complicated. What you're looking at is a simple break of structure. The current market is bullish. So you're looking for continued buys at a very specific level of structure. Price, action. One of the actions are the fact that this level of structure was being a level of support, and then it ended up being resistance until it wasn't. Another action is the break of this structure with this now current candle. So what can you identify? Some potential buys. Now, where would those buys come from? It's not going to be perfect. So if anybody's like, okay, well, I'm not going to ask questions, I'm just going to wait for him to show me where he's going to be buying from, that's absolutely incorrect because I'm identifying a potential zone, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will reach there. So let me say this. Potential buy kill zone. Now, when it reaches that point, am I going to immediately place a trade? Absolutely not. I want to see what happens. I want to see if that level of structure is in fact respected. If not, then we don't buy. But if anything, I think that GJ will buy up until the next current highs. So I'll mark it up like that. I'm not going to have my zone be like this. I'm just going to make it very specific to the highs of this level of structure. Let's go, peeps. Flood Jay with questions. He will help you understand things with simplicity. Now, I don't think anybody want to ask. So, I mean, this is what's going to happen. And my man, Rome, I appreciate you big time. If anything, seems like not everybody's very active today. We'll conclude here in a bit. I actually do have some family matters myself. My grandfather not doing so well health-wise, so we're going to go see him. But I wanted, again, make sure that I'm giving you guys my time, my value, my knowledge. So use it wisely. If not, we'll conclude here in a bit. Seems like everybody's pretty Gucci for today. Looks like everybody's got their questions answered for today or leading into the new trading week. But yeah, if you guys are good, we can conclude. We'll catch back on first thing tomorrow. But again, I'm only doing these sessions to really help you guys, really make sure that you guys are understanding what's needed to become profitable, answer any and all questions that you guys have so that way you guys can be self-sufficient. If not, it just means that you guys are good. You guys don't need my knowledge and you guys don't have any questions. So I don't want to waste anybody's time by just speaking on really nothing as of today, only because it is Monday. Again, Monday's not being the greatest day to trade. I saw people even trading yesterday, being Sunday, the market open. Not a very good idea. You want to allow the market to truly develop, get an idea of what's potentially going to be happening. But as of right now, I don't necessarily see too much in the charts. We did have some strong moves last week, and now with those strong moves, they're kind of stuck, consolidated, now developing and trying to identify their next true idea. Yep, no problem, LA. I appreciate you. But yeah, I just want to see if anybody got anything so that way I could speak on relevance. I'm just skimming through the charts real quick to see if there is any potential ideas. I'm trying to figure out, was it this? Ah, it was this. All right. It was a crazy week last week. Hell yeah, crazy good week. I was able to get, so I'll just be very honest and transparent. I've been trying to scale my business, if you will, to greater heights. And the one thing I understand is you can't do things alone. I'm one man and I have over 2,000 students. Being able to teach and educate and trade for 2,000 people on your own every day, Monday through Friday, is very difficult. So I actually try to make EAs, create EAs, and I even hired 2 individuals who I thought were amazing trade. I'm not going to say their name because I know everybody knows them. But I'm not going to shout them out like that. I think that's disrespectful. But they were not they were not who they claimed to be. And our auto trader took a giant shit for the past month or two with me hiring and allowing these people to trade for us. But since I took it over, since last week, I fired those 2 individuals and I just decided to do it on my own. And just like you said, crazy week, it definitely was a crazy good week. We were able to identify some of the best opportunities. We were able to get like 100 pips on just one trade alone in like a few seconds. I don't think anybody was awake for that. It was like a GJ trade. It bought, actually, I'll show you actually where we bought from. Actually, I'll just do this as well. So that way you guys can see the transaction. Just so that way you guys don't think I'm just like bullshitting. Let's do all history. I'm trying to see. There we go. See, I even tried getting a nice EA for us, and that shit just did not. So last week we were able to get. I'm trying to find that GJ trade symbol. I can't even find it. So what I'll do right now is, and yes, we are in some trades right now. I'm always placing trades for students, but I'm over here trying to identify where that buy was. Where was that? So, okay, there it is. Let me delete everything. So we were able to actually get in this, not only just the sell here for GJ, we were able to get into this buy and it immediately hit take profit. So, and I wish the replay worked a little bit differently. I don't know why it's like that right now. But we were able to catch this initial sell. And with that sell, we took profits at these lows. Now, this is what I mean about identifying structure, and you don't have to have a lot in order to identify a potential entry. This was crazy for me last week, right? Because my woman's mindset stated that it was a crazy week last week. It definitely was. We didn't get too much momentum, but when we did, it definitely provided. So what I was looking at previously was this. And for some reason, my replay button is not working, so I can't take all this away. I have no idea why. I'll fix that right after this session. But we were able to get into the sell here. All right, and actually, I'll show you guys. I'm always making sure that students are making as much profits as possible. Where is that sell on GJ? So right here, sell on GJ. I did advise them that I'm placing a large lot size. This is our big lot size signals where we place giant lot sizes or just bigger lot sizes than normal. Due to the accuracy and profitability of those trades. And as you can see here, they're always getting them. I'll share a market with, share a signal with, 1 or 2 signals with everybody in the public side, but students are getting as many signals as I could possibly find throughout the day. And as you see here, just so that way you guys can see what I'm speaking on, this was the trade setup. Right, almost exactly what I was about to draw up. And you can see that we were able to catch that initial sell. Now, the final targets was not hit because our first target was, and I made sure that I put this on the auto trader, right? So our first targets down here being a level of structure was hit. I was then able to go ahead and place a buy from this area here to these highs. So we literally got 100 pips in less than a second. I actually was like, why did that just spike up so hard? I wish we would have held, but you can't get mad over 100 pips in profit. So the reasoning why I'm speaking on this is just because I want you guys to understand that it's not difficult to trade if you're just using simplistic ideas. You don't need 1,000,001 indicators and strategies and even EAs or help from programmers that, don't necessarily help to become profitable or run anything. But this is one of the trade types that we're looking at last week or did place, and we're just going to identify a potential re-entry. Nothing complicated. We know what this market is doing. We know that it's in its impulsive move to the upside, and we're going to eventually get a correction. So let's do this. Let's say, and we will have to market from these lows. We can now start adding our confluence. So with the 38.2 within that level of structure, with this already impulsing higher, we may eventually get this coming right back down to retest and buy from there. So I just wanted to speak on some things, give you guys some value, because I don't got a lot of questions from you guys. So I just want to make sure that I'm giving you guys something before we conclude for the day. So let me go ahead and write this back out. Let me do potential. I can't spell. I got to put my contacts in. Potential buy kill zone. So and the reason why I'm doing that is just so that way you guys can see what I'm teaching you guys, what I'm showing you on these sessions actually works. It is very profitable. You don't have to have a guru strategy. You don't have to have some crazy indicators or crazy EA or some shit that looks like this. Like, just make sure you're using simplistic ideas. Less trades, but take only high profitable trade with a good lot size. Yeah, I mean, for me, if I'm able to identify 10 signals a day for students, and they can all be big lot size signals, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? My whole mission, my whole goal right now is to create and generate as many six-figure traders as I possibly can, whether it's through my education, whether through my signals, or whether it's through our auto trader. That's very important, because once I can create more six-figure traders, that means I have a lot better, more testimonials that will help lead Legacy being one of the best platforms. You know what I mean? But again, questions, anything you guys got, and this is your time. If not, we'll conclude for today. Again, I just wanted to make sure I was speaking on some relevance, helping you guys become better traders. But if not, we can conclude. I want to make sure I'm helping you guys. But if you guys don't need any help, shit, then we're good. But again, what do you guys have? If anything, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. If not, we'll conclude for today, only because I personally do, like, no joke, I do have to go handle some family matters. Just make sure that everybody's healthy and good. But again, I just want to make sure I'm giving you my time, my education, and be consistent. I know I was going to say I was going to do these for a while, be consistent on the lives, but being busy and trying to run this legacy company and business is difficult alone, but I think I got it now. So again, I want to make sure that you guys are educated. Doesn't seem like you guys need anything so far. So let me just see if there's anything else before we conclude. Ooh, I might start, I'm not going to lie, I might start looking at some counter trend trade moves with a lot of these yen pairs, because as you can see, they have given us strong impulsive moves with no correction, which is great. You know what I mean? Without a correction, with a strong move to the upside like we see with Gbpjpy, there is room for a counter trend trade. So I might be identifying this as a signal for legacy students. If I do in fact like this trade even more, I'll be sure I put this in the Discord for you guys as well. If you are not a part of our Discord, make sure that you go into the description below, take the link for our Discord, because as you see here, I'm always making sure that I give you guys live announcements when I'm doing lives in general. I'm always making sure that I give you guys trade signals. As you can see here, another trade signal sent directly to you guys, whether you're a student or not, was able to be perfectly executed. So make sure that you guys are getting the all-around value that myself and my legacy students have to offer, right? It's very important. So yeah, seems like you guys are good. So what we'll do is we'll conclude for today. If you guys don't have any questions or anything specific for me to look at, again, if you guys do have a chart for me to analyze, make sure you give me a reasoning on why you would like to take a look at it. It's very, very important that I speak on relevance, because I could just say, yeah, GU buy, and then okay, and that's it. You're not getting anything from it. I just want to make sure that you guys are good. How do you feel about prop firms? I think they're good. I'm funded by like 4. You know what I mean? I'm funded by 4 prop firms, 2 with my Forex funds, 1 with FTMO. and one with the trader. I forgot the funded trader, the trader program. I forgot what TFT. I think that's what they're called. They're good. You know what I mean? I don't think that you should use prop firms as something where you're like, oh well, I got $100,000 account. Let me go place 10 standards. You don't have $100,000. You have 5,000. Right? Because you got that 5% drawdown rule. You don't have 100,000. You have $5,000 in your trading account. Remember that. When people are like, yeah, but it says 100,000, you still have to respect those rules. And if those rules are breached, bye-bye account. So prop firms are great. They're a great way. If you know how to trade, if you're consistent with your profits, you understand the true idea of risk management, then they're great. But if you're going to go with a prop firm with the mindset of, I just bought $100,000, challenge, I have 100,000 to trade with, you do not. Because I see that shit all the time. People placing fucking 10 standards with US30, not knowing that just a small move is going to be wiped out immediately. If it goes the wrong way, like, understand the true essence of what a prop firm is. Yes, they give you capital to trade with at the end of it, but it's still not a full $100,000. Your best bet, if you want, is to get with your own money, $5,000, and trade it that way. Why? One, because you're going to be more personal. It's your money. Two, you're going to definitely be using proper risk management. Three, $5,000. I know for a lot of people that's not a lot, or is not considered a lot to be trading with. But in the Forex market, that's well more than enough. You know what I mean? I've seen people do, great jobs with $50 account. I started my journey with a $50 account. That's all I had in my name. And I said, fuck it, we out. You know what I mean? But my honest opinion, yeah, prop firms are great if you're using them wisely. How can I join the leg? Just hit me up directly after this on Discord or Facebook if you have me on Facebook. If you're not in the Discord, again, the link for the Discord is in the description below. You could definitely type in the Legacy chat. I actually do have to respond to some messages in there now, or right after rather. So once, just join the Discord. You'll get all the information there. You can hit me up directly. We can speak directly as well. You're not going to be speaking to an assistant or anything. You'll be speaking directly with me, so that way I can help you in the right get right, if you will. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that you guys are settled up. So yeah, anything you guys got for me? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, don't get it twisted. Like the first time I did a prop firm, I was even stupid. I failed it, and trust me, I was already a consistent trader. I just kind of wanted to test it out, see what was up. And my dumbass, I was like, oh, I have $100,000 account. Let me go ahead and do what I normally do. And I think I just placed the wrong lot size. The shit went up real quick, and I was breached immediately. I was like, okay, yeah, I can see why challenges are failed so often. But when you respect the drawdown rule and the 5%, you will have a solid setup. I do think prop firms are great, but you have to use them in a very professional manner. Prop firm is good to get out profits to fund your live account and invest in other things. Yeah, that's actually a really good point as well. I think the first time I went and did, I think it was FTMO, I had a $200,000 account, got funded, and then the first thing I did was run it up. I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead, make my initial, investment back, because they do refund it to you, which is great. But I was like, you know what? Let me get that refund and see what else I could do. And I took my initial investment, and then I was able to actually use the profit payout to go ahead and do some fun things, if you will. So, I mean, it's great. It's just like an extra little income, if you will. And it's not your money that you're losing. That's another great thing too. Technically, you're not losing your money, especially if you're able to get multiple payouts. Get, let's say, I think, what is it, like every week, where you're able to just go ahead, take your profits. Like that's great. And if you lose it, technically it's not your money. And if you've already made back your investment and then some, I would say that the loss or losing that funded account doesn't burn as much, but it definitely still sucks. You know what I mean? It definitely still sucks if you had such a strong or funded account where you're not making that money because you lost it. So it is different, but I personally would think that using your own money, your own deposits is probably best. My honest opinion. Again, it helps you understand the severity of price action of proper risk management. And it really helps you make more, I would say, educated decisions, because when it's your money, you're a lot more safe and protected. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, but I don't think it's bad if you're not losing any money, but sometimes it's only bad because sometimes you're not risking as much. And the biggest risk in life is not taking one. So we got to understand that. But yeah, any questions, anything else you guys got for me? If not, we'll conclude for today. Again, just want to make sure I'm speaking on relevance, helping you guys out to the best of my abilities. I might have a few signals for legacy students. And if I can send them more than like 3-4 trades, I'll make sure that I share one of them with you guys as well, non-legacy students. That way you can not just get education from these sessions, but also get a lot of profits as well. Again, I want to make sure that I'm impacting people's lives in a positive manner. So I want to make sure that I'm educating and providing as much profits as possible. But yeah, any questions, anything you guys got for me so far? If not, we'll conclude for today. Again, I know it's Monday, so not too much going on. If you're on these calls or on this session right now, just waiting for me to throw out a trade for you, it's not going to happen, unfortunately, not today. Oh yeah, forgot AUD, NZD. Let me actually tell students, so you guys could just see. Again, I'm all about transparency, win, loss, draw, it doesn't matter. This was a trade signal from last week, sell AUD, NZD. Again, big lot size signals. They are taking these signals with pretty decent lot sizes. So let me go ahead and tell them to either move stop losses to break even or take profits. Our AUD NZD trade is in nice profits. Let's move stop losses to break even or simply take full profits if you are happy with your outcome. It's very important. Like, this is something that I personally like to do. A lot of other individuals don't do, is try to be as transparent as possible and understanding, in order for somebody to trade the markets or be associated with somebody, you have to earn that trust of, can this person actually trade? Can this person actually make me profitable? So I like doing small things like that, showing you guys the inside of our, little area, signals, our group and everything, just so that way you guys can see, again, the approach that I take to the market is not just profitable, but extremely accurate, right? And as you can see, it's a very simple approach. There's nothing complicated. I'm not going over, I'm not marking up useless shit. Because I see this all the time. If you're still doing this on the chart, like you go to the 4-hour and you start marking up your structure there, and you go into the 1-hour and you start marking up your structure there, and then you go into you're not accomplishing anything. So again, I'm just doing this as far as transparency is concerned, so you can see that a simplistic idea of the market can make you profitable. The 4 things that you should be using, just so that way I can leave you guys with this, in case anybody's trying to figure out, so what should I use? What's profitable? What trading strategy? So 1, you're using support and resistance. Now, if you're like, really? That's it? Absolutely. Tell me any strategy right now that does not involve any form of support and resistance. Because I can tell you that order blocks is not a level of a price where big banks and institutions are institutionally buying, and that's where, no, it's not true. Because an order block, I can show you an order block. This would be considered an order block here. Just so, and I'll jump onto to the 4-hour. This would be considered an order block here. This bearish candle, or you could just say it's a level of support, because it is, right? Support, market came back down, support. Don't overcomplicate order blocks and supply and demand. Like, it's all the same thing. It is just support and resistance, or you can even just put structure. I can't spell today. Structure, price. That is it. So support, resistance, structure, price, it is all the same thing. Don't get confused or think that somebody's method of, institutional trading it's not a real thing, in my opinion. It's all based around simplistic ideas: support, resistance, structure, price, fibs. You're using your Fibonacci retracement tool within your structure and price points to confirm whether that's an accurate level of structure or not. Also, i.e. for entries. 3, trend lines. You're using your trend lines because it's a very self-explanatory thing. Trend line. It is a line showing you the trend of the market. Is it up? Is it down? That's the biggest question I always get. Jay, check GU because I want to know whether it's buying or selling. All right, look at it and draw a trend line, and that trend line will answer all of your questions. Is the trend line up? Is the trend line down? And the trend line can also be used for entries as well. Everything I'm doing here is based around identifying an entry point. And then the last but not least, candles. You're using your candlestick confirmations or variants, if you will, to identify whether or not you're going to place that entry or whether or not the market is going to make a move. Is it going to continue? Is it going to reverse? So these are the simple 4 things that you guys should be using, perfecting, identifying in order to become profitable within the market. So no questions. Everybody's silent today. What's good, everybody? So, I mean, if you guys are getting education and value, that's all that matters. But yeah, this is it. Don't overcomplicate any of your trading. Keep it as simple as possible. And I promise you, you will become extremely, extremely consistent with your trading. So yeah, any questions, anything else you guys got for me? If not, we'll conclude for today. Again, I just want to make sure I'm speaking on relevance, jumping onto the charts with you daily to ensure that everyone is getting some education, some value, and obviously leading into the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if there is any trade opportunities, guess what? If we can place them live while we're on this call, we will. So again, I just want to make sure that you guys are getting knowledge, but it doesn't seem like anything so far. So what I'll do is, if I don't see any questions or anything, we'll conclude for today. Again, I don't want to keep you guys just waiting and listen to me just talk about nonsense. What is this? Oh, the notes. Okay. But yeah, anything so far? Seems like you guys are good. I'm just going to take a quick look at some things to see if there is any trades. So I will be looking at some potential counter trend trade moves with some of these yen pairs. As you can see right now, like USD/JPY. And the reason why I'm not on a higher time frame is because I understand the overall market or the direction of what this market is giving us. So I'm only staying on the 1 hour and smaller because I'm doing my detailed analysis. You can't really go into the daily and weekly, start marking that up and get too much analysis and detail for an entry. But on the smaller time frames, such as the 4 hour, 1 hour, you can identify potential entry points on these time frames. So I'm just looking to see if there's any potential counter trend trade moves. So I'm going to say potential sell kill zone. Now, I say potential because there's no entry on this as of yet. So if you guys are like, yo, I'm going to sell this right now, no, please do not. If you guys saw any of the trades that were in the auto trader and you think you're going to place them right now for profits, I would say no. Only because some of those moves have been made and we still need to let those develop, and they could end up not being profitable. You know what I mean? So always make sure that you're being very professional with your approach to the market. Don't think that you have to have 10 trades a day or a trade a day in general to make money. There's going to be times that, there is no trade setups. There are no opportunities. That's a great thing because it just gives us the opportunity to go ahead, look at some other charts, be patient, and then wait for the best high probable trade setup. So I will be looking at some things like that for not just legacy students, but for you guys as well. So if there are some potential counter trend trade moves, I'll be sure to share the analysis and ideas with you all. But thanks, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Rome, thank you. Everybody else, I appreciate you guys as well. If you guys got any knowledge, if you guys are always on these calls and really appreciating the time that's spent with you guys, go ahead, please drop a like on this video. It definitely helps grow this community into a manner that, again, I want to build a community based off of transparency, based off of consistency, value, and profits. And yeah, you guys have been making that happen big time. So I definitely appreciate all of you. We have been growing our community pretty exponentially, honestly, so I owe it all to you guys. So if you could just go ahead, drop a like if you guys are enjoying the value, enjoying these sessions, enjoying the profits that you're receiving, it definitely helps, so I appreciate that. But yeah, doesn't seem like you guys got anything for me today. Looks like everybody's pretty much Gucci, so what we'll do is we'll conclude for today. We'll catch back on first thing tomorrow morning. For my legacy students, stay close. I'll be dropping some potential signals and some potential trades if they are about. And I will also be placing those in the auto trader as well. If I see some really high probable trade setups like I did last week, I'll enter multiple entries so that way you guys can make more profits and then go from there. But yeah, appreciate you guys. If you have anything, feel free to let me know at any points. If you're not a part of the Discord and you have any questions, feel free to join our Discord. The link is in the description below. You'll be able to ask any and all questions to myself and legacy students, get a ton of information, a ton of knowledge, and a lot of help. So with that being said, thank you guys. Have an amazing day. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up at any point, and I definitely got you guys. All right, man. Thank you guys.